this is Tony.
This is Paul coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast.
And we're go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Friends for Life podcast. Today we talk with Brian and Dan of Vocation Plus Connections all the way out in California. We have a really great conversation today discussing all things disabilities as well as the wildfires that are going on out that way and everything else under the sun. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Friends for Life podcast, everyone. Tonight we have Dan and Brian from Vocation Plus Connection all the way out in California. How are you guys doing this evening?
Hey guys, thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here.
Absolutely. So how are things going out there in California? There's some naturally occurring things going on that are pretty boisterous in the world. So how are you guys hanging in there?
We are doing well. I mean, other than the smoke, but the person served, we're doing everything's remotely, so it's indoors. They're being safe, and we're just hoping for the best here soon.
I hear that.
Yeah, just sending our prayers out to those firefighters right now. They're battling blazes still. One of the big fires near us is 0% contained, and it's about 175,000 acres. So
wow,
it's tough right now. But yeah, we're hanging in there. You know, we're still keeping in touch with our guys, making sure everybody's safe. Making sure they're wearing those masks if they are out, just so they don't breathe in those particulates and whatnot. So.
Yeah, because Fresno County, this is where we're at. But we have persons served that actually live in the mountains. They'll drive over an hour to come to our program.
Whoa.
At Vocation Plus. And then we got people out in Squaw Valley, up in, by Shaver Lake, Oakhurst, Corscold. So they come down here because they enjoy the program so much. There are day programs over there, but, we try to, give them what they need.
Exactly.
And a lot of parents are looking for that. But anyways.
Hey, well, I mean, that's a very big scope in what we do, and why sometimes I think, other places stick out more. The families and the individuals themselves are like, hey, yeah, I'll sit in the car for an hour or a van for an hour to get there because I know it's going to be worth it. All right. So who was the mastermind of this wonderful corporation or incorporation that I see now?
Well, Vocation Plus started back in 1984. Her name was Judy Rogers, and she started the program, but they were in group homes. And from there, she wanted to branch out to day program, which is in the community. And then in 2015, Doug Middleton, he bought it. Vocation Plus Connections is what the word is now. Because vocation, of course, meaning work.
Gotcha.
And then plus was anything you want to do on top of that. A plus, like I want to learn how to take the bus. I want to learn how to budget. I want to do extra stuff. So when Doug added the name Connections, Vocation Plus Connections, that's when we want to connect with the individuals. And that's what made it, really special. Him being where he is, he's very, I would just say, Brian, like open-minded. He wants to, make sure that the person served come first. It's all about them is our slogan. It's not about us. And I think that's where we really prosper.
To just piggyback off of that real quick, and Brian, I want you to also, get in with that. I've seen that is the best formula to make what we do the best and make us feel the best, because I'm sure we can all do what we do and make more money. But when it comes to us actually doing what we do for the individual, it doesn't just change us or change them. It changes us, and it creates that mindset of, serving and caring versus just serving and getting paid.
Right. Yeah. And I think you said it there with the serving and the caring. Us, one of the things that we really instill in our culture is being person-centered in that way. So, having those different personalities, having those different levels of functioning, we really make it a point that no matter what the person comes in with, we're going to kind of make it person-centered in a way that everybody's different, but we're going to focus on the individual.
That's right.
And that's kind of helped us build a family feel. A lot of our persons served, they'll call us their family, and we really feel that way. And it's great to have a team to work with that you can count on as a family as well,
Right.
A really supportive group that we have. Like Dan spoke to Doug, he's a great CEO that we have, very forward thinking, always trying to figure out how we can provide the best services possible. And I think that trickles down to all of us. And I'm just really blessed to be part of an organization like ours.
All right. Well, that's good. And everything that I've seen from you guys thus far, Ed, I wish I could take more time to be able to fly out and come spend time over there, because it seems like you guys like have an awesome time. Before COVID, give me an example of some of your like daily, either outings or activities that you do.
Well, basically, there's 3 components to our program, which we really try to instill. Even when we do a tour, it's learning, working, and of course, activities. But, everybody needs to learn. I speak Spanish, but if I don't practice it, of course, I'm going to forget it because I'm not using it. Como
Sí,
estás?
señor.
Yeah, there you go. But learning is one of those things, even with budgeting, and that's what we try to instill in our guys, is that a day-to-day, we have classes throughout the days. Brian, you want to talk about the classes?
Yeah, it all goes back to meeting those needs, and those needs are different for everybody that comes in the program. And so we're really good at accessing the community. We want all of our individuals to play in the same community that they work in, and have those experiences that you or me have, that we take for granted at times. And we really want our individuals that we serve to just access that community, be a part of that community, and really feel like they can go on outings, daily, and not necessarily even be with a program, but kind of just be out there with their job coach and friends. Mm-hmm. It kind of instills this kind of like camaraderie that we have. And we do a lot of activities. We're always trying to, keep it pushing, I guess you could say. We're always, we're trying to do as much as we can. And we've kind of enacted some things to kind of give our guys more power in controlling their schedules and, kind of holding them accountable for their schedules as well. So just going back to being person-centered, that's what it's really all about, is letting our individuals decide how they want to be a part of this community.
And that's phenomenal to hear. Paul and I, Paul has another podcast and another company that he does things for himself with, Aptitude Outdoors. Get a close up, Paul, with your hat.
I'll throw the logo up.
Yeah, there you go. Throw it up right up somewhere. But we had discussed, because he's done some podcasts with some of our local parks and stuff, and we're trying to figure out a way to incorporate our individuals who we serve to have more time outdoors in a safe way. At Friends for Life, we do serve a lot of individuals who need more ambulatory help, and some are bedridden, wheelchair bound, things like that. So I'm blessed to be able to have him, because I am not an outdoorsman. Like I am
not at all. You're not the least outdoors guy.
I am like the truest meaning of a city guy there is. But I love the stars, so I had to move out towards the country to be able to see them better. But that's one of the things that we're pushing at Friends for Life. What about you guys? Since you're out by the mountains and all that, you have so many historical landmarks around. Do you guys visit those and educate them things there?
Yeah, we try to get our guys outdoors a lot. We really access a lot of the kind of the local trails, you could say. That way, not necessarily going on those field trips all the way out to, say, Yosemite, but a couple of years back we did take our guys out to Shaver Lake, which is up in the mountains near us. Unfortunately, Shaver's been one of the cities affected by the fire, but just giving our guys a chance to go out some of those trails, San Joaquin River Gorge. There's a lot of beautiful landscape out here, and I think it's kind of a give and take with Fresno. We really enjoy having these opportunities, but the times to do it, unfortunately, it's hot here.
Yeah.
So we can't have our guys out in the heat all the time. So really trying to give them those opportunities for those that can do it in each season. And Dan could probably speak a little bit more to it as well.
Yeah, because basically between spring and also autumn, because summer, of course, it's really, really hot over here, like Brian was talking about. But during spring, we have a spring into summer, and we want everybody to be outdoors, kind of enjoy the physical fitness and doing the trails and the parks here in Fresno. But a lot of times we want to make sure that they're coming out, and not just because what we want. We had a culture day where we had every culture out there, Hawaiian, Hispanic, African-American, Armenian, and just all that person served in their own group. We're all participating, kind of just giving them out, letting them know what's going on. And normally this month in September, we do Patriot Day, where we honor all the ATFs. We also, U.S. Marshals, the police department, sheriffs, everybody that we have, so they can kind of see and get together, because a lot of them don't know how to act in front of our guys. I had some parents tell me, hey, can you talk to some of these police guys? Because what happens is there's an autistic person served that we have. And she said, what happens is they'll say, show me your hands. And of course, a person that's autistic, they'll come up to you and show you their hands.
Yes.
But that's not the way to say it. They say they want them to say, put your hands up. So a lot of the education. So we've actually connected with the local police department, and we have town hall meetings where they come out and we tell them, hey, this is what they need to, how you need to respond to these guys, and to make sure you're being very careful about your wording, because those things are really, it could be dangerous. And so they don't recognize, maybe firemen in an outfit, or if they say to make sure you come outside properly. So those things we want to help them out with, because a lot of our guys are scared of the police. So for them to come in uniform, for them to come in the cop cars, and to see the fire department or police department or some type of agency, they can really get an idea of who they are, and they can also see how our guys respond, if they're backing up, not to be so fearful. But of course, Patriot Day, we try to recognize everybody. We had a drone come up there, and we had a person served because clubs are really big. Pink ladies, those are all the girls. Vikings of Valor, the guys. Acts of kindness, and they all had a card, and we had the drone go up and it said USA on it. So it's really nice for the clients to see that. Tri-tip barbecues, we have games, obstacle courses against the management and the person served, dunk tanks. I don't know. We just we want to do everything for them.
Get out and get wild.
I think, and then a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say, hey, Dan, I can't go to a car show. Well, no problem. We'll bring the car show to you. We've had a motorcycle show. We had a car show. We had I want to get a NASCAR next, but
nice.
Just so they can experience all that. And that's what we want for them. We want them, like Brian was saying, live life. Kind of have the same opportunities we do. But of course, I'm the DJ Dan.
Oh my gosh, Dan! He's not kidding.
Just to make sure
goes wild on the DJ.
There you go.
We invite everybody, though. Their parents, the care providers. We invite other agencies, the persons or their students, I guess you would say, before they come into a day program. We also invite them so they can have that experience to kind of see, hey, it's not about, hey, I want your person to serve to be, or your client to come into our program. What's the best fit for them? Because it's the rest of their life.
Amen.
What's something I'm always curious about, since, I came in to work at Friends for Life as like the social media guy. I had no experience with the DD field at all, or any disabilities. So how did you both, maybe Brian, you want to go first? How did you guys get involved in the field, and what kind of keeps you here and what drew you in?
Yeah. So when I first started, I started in a high school, in a special ed program for RSP. And so as I was doing that, I had decided to go back to school to get my degree in something unrelated, criminology. But then as I was in school, I was looking for another opportunity for a job. One of my friends had worked at Vocation Plus, and he always used to sing their praises. So he was really excited to kind of just come check it out. He kept saying, if you check it out, I guarantee it, you'll like it. So literally from the moment I walked in the doors, getting greeted by people, really just feeling the connection and feeling the love, to be honest. It made me want to grow with this company. And, after getting hired on there, wanting to grow even more. So, looking to kind of do different things within the company, moving up to a case manager, and then, always wanting to do more, always trying to figure out how I can support these individuals that we serve. We just got, a lot of people that are really enjoy what we do. And we have a lot of fun. I know we throw a lot at you at those events, but I don't want to undersell how much fun we have. We have a lot of fun. We're really lucky to be able to do what we do.
Awesome. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, like Brian was saying really quick, work hard, play hard, so we expect a lot out of them. But anyways, actually I was a management at Payless Shoe Source, but of course they went out of business.
Oh, wow.
But that was a while ago.
I used to have some of those shoes when I was younger.
Yeah.
Anyways, on a personal level, I went and worked at a car wash because I want to, you just wanted to get a little active and stuff. So anyways, I worked at the car wash, and then Vocation Plus came by and they say, hey, one of these persons served wants to work at a car wash. And I go, oh, okay. So as management, we went over there and showed them how to, spray off the bugs and stuff. And I inquired about it. I was working well with the guys that were there, and I just jumped in. I mean, I really enjoyed what they were doing. And just from there, That was over 25 years ago, and I'm here now.
Look at that. Well, that is awesome, man. I really like you guys. I want to say from not only just the conversations, Dan, I know you were directly involved in some of our email threads that we've had for our kindness challenge, and just in Toledo, we have created a small group of individual agencies who we come together so we can do exactly like you're saying, so we can have these events, and it's not one of those things where it's, okay, is somebody trying to poach one of my staff, or is it somebody trying to poach an individual? Because as I always say in these podcasts, this is a business. We have to have our P&Ls. We have to make sure that, business is ran properly. But our number one goal is, if you're a good business person, I think is still the individual, because it's all going to transcend and it's going to work in that flow together. And I get that vibe from you guys, just like, you're super cool.
Not as cool as Dan. Dan's a cool one. A morning at our office, pre-COVID, of course, you see a line out of Dan's office with people that just want any piece of him. This guy, he really goes above and beyond for our person serving. Like he said, DJ, you'll walk into the office, there'll be a morning dance party and be like, Dan has started already. It's 8:30 in the morning. So, I think not to speak for Dan, but I think one thing that helps us kind of just dive in is we both have similar personalities, and, we really make it a point to just be on that level with our guys, and really just be there for them, and let them know, like, hey, you're not any different than we are. We're here to help you out, but at the same time, we're going to do some work too, and we're going to, have those tough conversations. But at the end of the day, they know it's coming from a place of care, because, we're there day in, day out, and it's a lot of fun doing what we do.
That's great. Well, how many people do you serve in your area?
We're about 230. 230 in our program, just our program.
Okay. And in your county, are there a lot of different agencies, or are you guys kind of a niche for your area?
No, we're having there's over 20 programs like ours, day programs.
Oh, wow.
But there's a lot of like residential cares, but there's a little bit of competitiveness, but we try to do what we can. But in I don't know, in California, there's these regional centers. I don't know if you guys have that over there. I think you guys are more independent, I believe. But they're an agency that is between the state, and they're the middle ones, which are actually like counselors. Brian, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we are a vendor of the regional center. So California's regional center system allows programs like ours to kind of get a little bit of guidance from the state. And these regional centers are there to kind of coordinate a lot of different things, services for their individuals, hence the name. A lot of them have service coordinators there. So we work closely with them. So our individual, program for them is just one aspect of their life that the regional center is helping them find. But, they have a lot of other things in place that the regional center comes in and helps them with. So we are pretty lucky to have such a great regional center. And also just the system that we have in California is very helpful for our guys to get things that they need, So we can't say enough about how great the regional center is, and how they help support us and what we do. And it's kind of like, when you guys have those IDT meetings, right? You're always talking about the circle of support. Mm-hmm. Who's going to support this individual? Who's going to be here to help guide their life in a way? And we're lucky enough to work with a lot of great care providers, a lot of great service coordinators, and families, that really just want the best for our individuals.
And it sounds...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. It was basically, I was going to say, it sounds like your regional centers are what we call our county boards here. And so it's the exact same way from what it sounds like to me. But go ahead, Dan.
Well, we always want to make sure that our funding is going to be there, because a lot of it is state funded. Mm-hmm. And we actually, this March, you want to talk about the assemblyman, Brian?
Yeah, so there's this really cool program that the state is involved in. It's Go to Work for a Day. So it's Work for a Day program. So congressmen, local assemblymen are going to their communities, and they're working with one of our individuals at their job.
Hold the presses. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How did y'all, Who did you bribe? I need to know because that is amazing. I can barely get some of my staff sometime to work, let alone a county official. No, I'm just playing, staff. I'm just playing. No, but yeah, that's awesome. Hats off. But please continue.
Yeah, and so it just kind of, it speaks to our CEO, Doug Middleton, who tries to spend a good portion of his time, in Sacramento lobbying with those government officials. And it's always a battle for us to, when we talk about funding, unfortunately, programs like ours, usually one of those first things they look to cut. But, we have a lot of great leadership in the Valley that goes up to Sacramento and they say, hey, you know what? A lot of our individuals really need these services. So they got with these congressmen, they got this program set up, and we'll have to send you the video after this of an individual that went and worked with someone at McDonald's for their job. A congressman working at McDonald's. So it was pretty cool to see. And we had our local assemblyman, Joaquin Arambula, was going to come and, work with one of our individuals. Of course, COVID had different plans for everybody. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, this was a really cool program that gave them a chance to see how dependent on this community, kind of being a part of the community, working in the community, our guys are, they need to be out there. They need to be finding jobs. And so the congressman going and working with them gives them a little bit of insight of, wow, this individual's working hard. They need this program to help guide them with employment supports, maybe a little bit of job coaching, a little bit of, just a little bit of help to kind of get them to where we can get them hired on with this company, So it's really cool to see the state doing things like this because it shows they care, and at the end of the day, for them to go and do that shows they want to really put forth the effort to understand the circumstances our individuals face.
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Well, again, I want to take my hat off to you guys for making that above and beyond effort to go out there and, talk to people. I was talking to one of our congressmen another day, Congressman Latta, and this was probably 30 to 45 days ago. And I brought up, and it was like a town hall thing, but it was over the phone. So I called in and I gave my question, and it was about people with developmental disabilities who live in a residential setting. Will there be any more funding to help with not only PPE, but if people were to be affected and, if they have to be displaced from their homes, so on and so forth. That question never made it on air. Now, not to get too political, we are a red state here in Ohio. You guys are a blue state in California. So those actions are, I think, looked at a little differently. Here, you mentioned Medicaid and Medicaid funding and stuff. Everybody just thinks, inner city welfare, things like that. And it goes so much deeper. But I guess I say all of that to say, not only am I proud of you guys for doing it, it gives me more motivation to continue making those phone calls, to continue putting out those letters, and to continue advocating to other people that we need to keep doing it. And which I am happy to announce. And I like to, I don't know, maybe my head's just blown up big enough right now that some of my protesting per se has actually gotten us funding. There was over 72 million, I think $72.9 million worth of funding that was put in through Ohio that will go to help agencies like mine to help, fight the spread of COVID and so on and so forth. And if we took hurting somewhere down
that's awesome.
Earlier
Congratulations on that. That's really huge.
So thank you. And we've been blessed enough early on to be able to make some good financial decisions, but I know a lot of places who, they've been devastated by this. And I was happy that the PPP was available to a lot of people to be able to help them. And tell me if I'm reaching too deep. But did you guys have to go that route for the PPP? Did your company have to shut down everything inside? And how tough was that?
So yeah, I can touch on it, Dan, if you want.
Okay.
So as far as when COVID first hit, there was a real moment of uncertainty at first, about whether we could continue. And like Dan had mentioned earlier, we are state funded. So that was going to be, our funding is contingent on the state. So one of the things that when we got that notification about, you talk about essential services and essential businesses, we were deemed an essential service by the state. So that kind of made things a little bit more clear in regards to, okay, if they think we're essential service, then they're going to continue to fund us for the time being. So I think one of the great things that our company did is we pivoted so quickly because, okay, we didn't want to just sit back and get funding and have our individuals sit at home. We really pivoted and thought, okay, now we're going to go 100% remote services. So we really put in the time and the effort as a group to figure out how can we do this to where we're reaching our individuals still. So, thinking about making 230 phone calls, following up with those parents and care providers, it was a marathon at first, really putting in that effort. But you know what, our team resolve is so great that, once we kind of got the go ahead of being essential, it gave us kind of the confidence to really think outside of the box about how we can provide services for our individuals. And that included a lot of, getting feedback from our consumers. And then also, really just, like I said, thinking outside the box. I mean, it was tough, but, we've kind of persevered in that. And we're still working on things as we speak. So, just trying to figure out how we can really get those services to individuals without being in person. So, it's pretty tough.
There you go.
Yeah, and I was looking at your website before we started, and it seems like you guys are doing tons of like Zoom meetings. You have tons of programs that are on the web. Was it hard to transition like that? Because just like with this podcast, we had everybody come to this room. We had people from the city come over, and in a way, it's a big tragic thing, but it kind of helped us because like we weren't reaching out to people like you guys across the country because frankly we never thought about it because we're like. It changed our mindset. Like, well, we have people come to this room, we talk, we hang out, and then everybody's on Zoom meetings now, and we're like, we can take this anywhere. Yeah. So it's definitely helped things evolve in different ways. So do you guys find it's working better? You think hopefully things go back to normal? You think it's going to be kind of more like part this and part that? Do you serve more people on the internet and in person, or what are you guys thinking?
Well, most of the people, what's happening is because of that switch, a lot of people expect us to have the answers right away once it happened. In March, I mean, like, so what's going to happen next? I go, well, let's give me a second. So, we had to have a lot of meetings after that, and we're looking about maybe over 60%. I mean, if we were to open tomorrow, they'll all be here. They'll be out that door. But a lot of them do enjoy now the remote services with Zoom and things like that with parents. And technology, I mean, has hit everybody. I'm over 50, I'm 52. And a lot of our coaches, they've also had to learn and adjust. It's a little difficult, but a lot of the persons served, they struggle a little bit too, or we've had to go out and help them with the Zoom and how to link up and do that because they want to see our face. Or just talk to us over the phone. They call every day still just asking them, hey, well, we're going to open up or what's going to happen. So, of course, they want that communication. And but I think it's actually, we've kind of developed more where meetings we're having, a lot of the ones that used to be very quiet are now opening up and talking, because they were just, real quiet now. But now that we're over the phone, we ask them questions. Would you rather, or would you want to do this? Or what's, what are we going to do next week? They'll do remotely, like, exercises. But yeah, I think it's for the better, I think now. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what Dan said, each individual is different, right? And sometimes you look at remote services, we're able to reach some of those clients that maybe aren't so comfortable coming into the office every day or going out in the community with a group. But for some reason, when you tell them, hey, you got a Zoom meeting, they're there every day. They may not be talking a lot when they're in person. You get them on the Zoom, man, they're in the chat room, they're saying hi to everybody, So I think that gives us a lot of kind of confidence going forward that, this can be something, an aspect of our program that was completely untapped before. And I think that we can reach some of those, kind of fringe individuals who maybe only want to come in, part-time because of some of those, maybe a little anxiety from being around people or things like that. Whereas Zoom allows them to be kind of more in their comfort zone. And, we've heard from our parents too that, I want to continue Zoom as long as we can. My kid hasn't been better, he hasn't gotten a chance to get into any behaviors because he's at home doing Zoom. So I think it's been awesome. And like you had mentioned, Paul, like it's totally something that you're like, whoa, this does allow us to reach a lot more people, and not even thinking about that aspect of it. So it's really cool. And it kind of goes to show that sometimes a meeting can be held over Zoom and doesn't need to be held in person, right?
Yeah, definitely. That is so awesome that people are, especially individuals that you're serving, are adapting much better than I think most people probably would have gave them credit for. And I think that's one of the things that we do as being revolutionaries in this field of work, that we give people the opportunity to show that part about themselves. Now, we didn't have any chance to create COVID, but we figured out a way to make it work afterwards. And I think that's what makes us revolutionary in every sense of the way, and you guys are really great.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Tom.
So, hey, no problem. Before we start to go down another rabbit hole, it's not going to be long, but do you guys have any questions for either one of us? Because the next part, Paul's he hasn't said much today anyway, but the next part, he's really going to kind of step back.
I had a question in regards to kind of the podcast. Is that something that you guys develop as a way to kind of reach more of the people that you serve? Or is that something where you're actually involving the individuals you serve through it and seeing, because I know podcasts are huge, right? So what made you guys kind of get behind the podcast idea and start that up?
I'll take this one first because I am a huge advocate of self-education, and some of the best ways that I learn is either through reading books or listening to people talk. One time I was sitting and I was listening to Joe Rogan, the absolute lowercase G-O-D of podcasting. Yes. And I was just like, why couldn't we do this for the people that we serve? And it's not necessarily directed just to the individuals we serve, but everybody to understand, like, having a developmental disability is not the end of the world. And I really think a lot of people feel as if they see a person afflicted either physically or mentally with something, and they just think that all hope is lost. But I wanted to break down what it can take even as a DSP. If you go and look at our YouTube channel and stuff, I have given ways for DSPs to understand how they can get paid more money. I am developing a program for people to start their own agencies or be effective independent providers. I'm also trying to construct a way that we can have more Zoom meetings and more get-togethers and phasing out the people who don't really care. And it's easy to see. And I mean, I'm sure if I ask you guys, hey, bring up some companies, you could, but we're not going to throw that shade out there with that tree, right? But yeah, that's where it kind of, it started. And I reached out to a handful of people that I trusted and that I thought would be very open and honest about their experiences and everything else. And they were like more than welcome to do it. So we started there, and then we started bringing on individuals. And now one of the funny things is I think we're only maybe about 4 or 5 podcasts actually in, but we have a backlog of a lot of material. And it's going to be some really cool, interesting stuff. So that's pretty much that. But Paul?
Yeah. He was he came to me one day and he said, I was just filming stuff for Friends for Life, and he goes, I want to do a podcast. And now I work a lot. But I love it. It's so much fun. It's really cool how it's come together, because I don't have any experience in the field at all. So I'm learning a ton, and I'm getting to talk to really cool people, and teaching Tony how to run some of this audio equipment's pretty fun. So I want to give you guys props. Your social media is very good. Tony's always kind of sending me stuff. Hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. And I'm like, you guys are making my job harder. You do post really awesome stuff, though. Very motivating. You guys look like you have a ton of fun, not like for play. Like, look at us. Right. We're great. Like, you're just having fun. And it's beautiful. I really think your social media is awesome. And, keep up the good work. But I'm scared about this rabbit hole Tony's about to go down, because if he says I don't know what he's talking about, it's probably going to be pretty bad.
It's not that terrible. What about you, Dan?
I was going to ask you guys really quick, because I see that little group you have, Assured Health, and everybody who did the kindness challenge. I meid you guys, I know it's kind of like a little bit of it's not competitive. You guys are more of like you guys work together. How did that come about?
Yeah. Well, it's like-mindedness. It was just by chance. Most of us, we're in a group called the ERN, which all companies pay for, and which all of the companies that are in it pay for, and it's the Employee Resource Network. And what we do is we pay the county and a secondary or third party, and they help create this system that helps our employees. So if they're having problems with daycare, the success coach will help them find a daycare service. If they need vehicle repair services or something, the Employee Resource Network is there, or the success coach is there to help with that. And she gets a lot of extra funding to be able to help our staff. Because it's no secret, DSPs do not make the most money. And in order for them to sometimes make it through, not even just a paycheck period, maybe even a work week, they may need some help. And what the resource has, the method of it is they did the numbers and saw how much time was wasted with supervisors and management trying to help a person who's going through this situation. And it was like, hey, well, if you put it all of that into one person, it would be a resource that can go and help, versus a staff person taking the time of a supervisor who's doing 3 other things right that moment. They probably have a service meeting to go to, or they probably have a house check they need to do, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how some of us got together at first, but then we just start reaching out. And typically you will know the ones that are going to reach back out. It's like if you send them an email and say, hey, me, such and such, such and such, such and such are getting together, Assured Health, Triad, and other company, and Grady, we're all getting together and we're going to have a cookout. Do you want to come by? We'll know if they really are a part of it, if they want to show up, because it kind of goes back to that mindset of, okay, are they trying to poach my client, poach my staff? They might see that they have too much fun and want to go over there. And it's a scarcity thing that we're all blessed in that group.
Well, Jennifer Kay from Assured, she's the one who she used to work at Vocation Plus. So, yeah, that's how we met her.
Really?
Yeah, so she called and
she never
said, hey,
told me
you guys
that.
want to do this? Like, well, yeah, of course, let's do it, So she's an awesome gal. Her and her husband, great people, good soul. she has a really good heart about just helping others. So that's my buddy right there.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Jennifer is awesome. She was one of the people that actually, when we first signed up for the ERN, who came and sold me on the product. Because I'm a high energy, fast moving person. And she was right there with me. And I'm like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. I think within a week, we had already planned a outing out for a park situation and all kind of stuff. Like
Dan was fitting perfectly with you guys. High energy, always moving, man.
As soon as he told me he was a 4 a.m.er, I was like, yep, my kind of guy.
You're killing me with that 4 a.m. stuff. I'm like a 4 p.m. guy.
Hey, it's either or. You either go to sleep at 4 a.m. or you wake up at 4 a.m. It's like you got to get extra work in sometime.
Exactly.
Show him the cool shirt.
What is it? I have to tell myself that to get all these podcasts edited.
And anybody listen on Stitcher or iTunes or anything, it's a shirt that says nobody cares, work harder. And that's basically what we have to do in life.
Yeah.
But all right. Who you guys got winning for the playoffs? NBA. Come on.
Being from California, you would think everybody's Laker fans out here. I'm not a Laker fan, okay? I'm not a big fan, but I do like LeBron, okay? I do like AD. The Lakers look tough right now. I don't see anybody but them coming out of the West. The Clippers, they're there. But, LeBron looks hungry right now. LeBron looks ready to assert that dominance, man. I mean, he just looks good. And then out of the East, I got Boston coming out of the East.
That's my man. See, I knew I liked you.
Last game, that double overtime was not right, okay? The NBA came out today. Didn't they say that Kemba Walker got fouled on that and they missed that big call?
Yeah, that was a huge one. I mean, that was the worst part about that game is that it ended with calls versus actual play.
I got Boston. I'm hoping that they pull it out against the Raptors, but either way, if we can get the Boston Heat Eastern Conference Finals, that's going to be a great series right there because Miami's looking really tough right now. That is.
And I've been telling people they were a sleeper. Oh, man. Jalen Rose, I think, was the only other person that agreed with me with that. I was like, as soon as they got buttered, I was like, yeah. But just a quick halftime alert. The Lakers are up 57-41 on Houston right now. And, what time is it? It's 8:22 here. So that means in a few minutes, we should be having our first NFL game, which, Dan, you and I were kind of going about
back and forth about earlier. I don't know. So you're saying you might be Houston? Is that what you said, Tony?
Yeah.
Football.
In NBA? Oh, football. Oh, yeah. I can't count out the Texans. Because if I remember correctly last year, and if I'm not mistaken, every time they were down, they came back. And they came back in a way that was not expected by anybody. Now, it's one of those things that and Dan, this is kind of what I had said earlier, with KC, they have at least 3 players that opted out, I think, and 2 on the injured reserve. They're down some people. Now that high from having that, that Super Bowl, you're defending champs and everything, you never know. And Mahomes, that young man has skills. He reminds me of not even a young Tom Brady. I'm going to say a Tom Brady with 7-8 years into the league. I watch his playmaking skills. I look at how, his audibles that he calls. He commands that assertion on the field that you don't see a lot of people do anymore. So I don't know. I'm just very excited for this NFL season. I want to see what Cam does with the Patriots.
There's a lot of good storylines. I'm hoping COVID doesn't become any storyline. I hope they get through the season.
Yes. That's what pisses me off, though. I got to be real. They should have bubbled it. The NBA is doing a great job, I think, with that bubble scenario. And if they would have went that route, I have more confidence in it.
Do you guys play fantasy
I guess
football?
We'll see. No, I was just I can't do it.
I had a question really quick. Okay, Tony, how are you a Raiders fan? I mean, just because, or somebody, or Derek Carr?
Yeah. No, I love Derek Carr. But no, the funny part about that is when I was younger, my uncle bought me a Raiders cap. And actually most of my history from my childhood and the teams that I am involved with now are from me being a kid and kind of being told you can never change teams.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be loyal. So it's it's funny. I'm a Wolverines fan, diehard. That's all day. It's football. But when it comes to NCAA basketball, Yeah, you can see some of it over there, and I got a whole bunch of memorabilia around.
Nice.
But for NCAA basketball, I'm a Spartans fan. Yeah. Most people, they're like, wow, Michigan State and Michigan Wolverines, that's like oil and water. And it's like, it's because my uncle at one point gave me the wrong jersey. He asked my mom who my favorite team was. She said Michigan, and he went and got a Michigan State jersey. So it was like, hey, guess what?
That might be one of the best mix-ups right
now.
there, though, because Michigan State is just, I mean, Tom Izzo, he kills it. They're great.
Oh, man. Yes. And I mean, that's what helps push me not to be so crazy. To this day, since 2009, I cannot wear a Boston Celtics jersey because I bet a friend that we would beat the Lakers. Guess what? They beat us, and we haven't been back to the chip land since. So I need this win so I can even buy a Boston Celtics jersey, a shirt, a cap, something. Yeah. So
I don't know anything about sports. Tony's goes on these rants about sports, and I'm always impressed by how you guys know like every single player in every single team in every single sport. I'm like, I can't even remember what I did yesterday, and you guys have like stats memorized. You guys have like every team memorized from like 1985 till currently. I'm like,
don't let it fool you. It only goes within
and honestly,
sports. Anything sports I can remember. Anything else? I can't.
Yeah.
But it's only focus towards sports.
Yeah, ask me to fix a carburetor or something like that. You're going to see it's not working.
We actually did a couple of sports interviews with some of our person served. So some of the YouTube videos you talked about, we got one on there where we're talking football, fantasy football, stuff like that. I've never seen the passion for football like we have at our program. It's one of the first questions when we have a new person come in. They'll be approached by other people and they'll say, "Who's your team?" Right away, who's your football team? And so that builds friendships, that builds those bonds, and it really is. It brings a lot of fun to the office because Dan or me will always post stuff about other people's teams, and it really adds a fun component to the office for sure.
That's definitely cool. We have some of that, especially with O State to Michigan. It's like you have to choose being where we are. The border war is serious here. Everybody has a pick. I'm sure Paul he'll try to not pick one because he spends a lot of time in Michigan too. So, but hey, gentlemen. I think this was a successful sit down.
This was awesome. Honestly, you guys are inspiring, man. When we think about different ways to reach our individuals, podcast is never even something we thought of. So when Dan kind of put me on to you guys, like, oh man, this is something that I think is very awesome for our population. So I appreciate what you guys do. This is something that's really kind of forward thinking, something that that's inspiring. Really appreciate what you guys do.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I definitely, I hope that we can change some lives. But really quick, who wants to give us the best way for anybody listening to contact you, to check you out, either on, a website, social media?
Well, the website, Vocation Plus Connections with an S.com, of course. And, of course, YouTube, same way, So just look us up, 559-221-8019. I'm Dan So. I'm the schedule coordinator. Brian?
Yeah, I'm Brian. I'm the chief of case management. So yeah, come check us out. YouTube is probably YouTube's a fun spot. You type in Vocation Plus Connections on YouTube, you'll see countless videos. So it's check us out on there and definitely check out. Dan, are you on Facebook? Are we on Facebook?
Yeah, we're on Facebook too. Yeah, we're on Vocation Plus and Vocation Plus Connections too.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Perfect.
You guys did a great job.
You sound like me, Brian, because I don't know half the time what I'm on.
That's what he has me for.
Yeah, I'll call him in a minute. Hey, do we have something on this network? Like, yeah, Tony, you've been on it like several times.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Friends for Life podcast. If you can, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, if you can, head over to iTunes and Stitcher and drop us a review. Really would help us out. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and we will get back to you. And thanks for watching. Catch you next time.